In our last video series that we just did about tracking yourself at home, I was asked a lot about writing with MIDI guitars and how it could be used as a modern tool to help you write great songs. I genuinely believe it is a great tool for writing nowadays and can even be better than traditional writing methods as it unlocks so many more possibilities for writing. I have written this little piece here. It's just a pre-chorus, chorus, and post-chorus part. I just want to show you this little snippet here and then we'll break it down on how it is achieved writing with MIDI. So that is all MIDI, bass, drums, and guitars. And what we're here for is to learn about MIDI guitars. So I'm going to turn off all my plugins here. So there are a lot of guitar VSTI options. I'm going to be using Odin 3 right here. There are a few other good ones. I really recommend either Odin 3 or the Axure guitars because they sound really good. So how I set this up is I just want the DI so I can make my own tone afterwards. So the DI just sounds like this. So it's a normal DI kind of sound. I only want this to be one guitar, so you could choose like one guitar soloed. By default, it's like a stereo pair. I want to have them separate, so I separate them out. And then if you go to your key switch list, this lists all the articulations there are. So by default, it's just alternate pick, I believe. And then I just go by velocity switching because it is faster for the writing purposes. But you can make this sound a lot more realistic by using like hammer-ons and pull-offs and whatnot and just using those key switches on those notes. But for the sake of writing, I just go by velocity. So my default velocity here is about 112, which lies between the alternate picking range. So pinch harmonics are maxed out 127, 126 to 35 is alternate picking, and palm mutes are 34 to 25, and then they get more dead as you go lower. So for the sake of just writing this kind of genre, I just do 112, and then I do 33 for my palm mutes, and then if I have any pinches, I just max them out. So these are all 112 right here, 124, but it's not 127, so it's not going to be pinches. So then for the right side, I would do the same thing, but just change the guitar so I don't get the same exact guitar on the left and right side. So the samples don't make it go into mono. So our stereo pair right now just sounds like this with guitars. And obviously that's just DI, so we could throw a basic tone on there. I just threw Clairvoyant, I think on default preset, maybe a little bit more gain, and I've been liking the Contenders cab, so I just threw a preset I like on there. This is how it sounds with the actual amp on it. So let's get to the actual writing section. You want to go to your grid lines. This is in a triplet feel, so I'll do eighth note triplets, and I want this to be like a driving like da 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 part. So I just want to do an open power chord and I want to put myself in drop F. So my lowest note will be this F right here. And I know that that F1 will be like my open 0. So I want to do a power chord here. So it would be the open, the fifth, and then the octave. So F, C, F. And then those won't be palm muted at all, so I know that I could just go da 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 da. So I have that part there, and if I wanted to have these be like palm mutes, I can just take these down and make them all 33, so then they would be a palm mute instead, and then I copy paste that to the right side, and it's how it would sound with those being palm mutes. I don't want those to be palm mutes, so I'm going to put that back to where it was. So the big questions is, why would you want to write like this? Well, the obvious one is if you don't have access to a guitar and or you don't play guitar, then you can still write out ideas and share them with your bandmates or whatnot. So that's like the very obvious reason why. Now, another reason is just on the fly changes. So say that I'm in drop F right now, but I want to see how it sounds in drop E. Well, I can just take all of this, drop it down to E. The right guitar is the same exact thing here. And the bass will be just that. So I can make my bass the exact same thing. Get rid of all the chords for bass because I'm not going to need that. And then I might do an octave down for bass just because I think it sounds cool. And then this lead part, I can put down a semitone so it's the same key. And let's see how this sounds in drop E now. Now, I love Cubase for writing because you could actually do a thing called Scale Assistant up here, and you could find the key of this part and you can quantize to that key and you could snap it. So when you're writing, you could just stay in that key and you won't have any like wrong notes if the part doesn't need to be like a chromatic part or any kind of modulated part. So this is all in A minor now because we're in drop E. And then I have a harmonic minor little modulation thing because it goes to a sharp 7 for this one little fill here, just to make it a little bit more like spooky sounding. But I'm going to put that all back to drop F. And now my key should be back to A sharp natural minor, except for that little thing there. Also, let's say that I want to have like some kind of strings over this part. I have MIDI here of the correct chords, so I could just drag those down. So I'm just gonna make a strings track. I'm just gonna use the East-West Opus here. Large ensemble, the first one. I'm not really concerned with like how great it sounds. Let's say on this chorus, I want these chords to be mimicked by the strings also. I can just drag that down and I got them all. And I could just put that up an octave so that it won't just be so much of that same octave range. And let's make these just long sustained hits here. Cool, so let's just see how these sound. They're still a little low in octaves, so I'll throw them up another octave, I think. I think maybe these high notes are a little too high, so we'll just erase these. And let's see how this sounds with context to everything. So I could add layers just by copy pasting stuff down, and I have the versatility of just changing parts, then quickly just porting them over to other tracks. I'll give you another reason, and this is probably the biggest reason, is say that you write a part and you're trying to show like your bandmates the part. Well, you have to like record a video and try to like show them like, oh, we'll do 5th fret, 2nd string or whatever. Or if you have like a new band member joining your band, it's a lot harder to write out tabs, where if you're writing in MIDI, I can just export this as a MIDI file. So we'll just call this tabs. I'll put it right to my desktop. Yep. And I could open Guitar Pro up, and I could just open a MIDI file from Guitar Pro. And from here, I really only want the rhythm guitar left. Move this to track 4, rhythm guitar right. I want to learn the lead guitar. Bass, I don't want to learn bass right now, and I'll just put these on electric guitars. It'll be on a 7-string we're going to play it on, and then we'll change the tuning once we're deeper into there. So you see we have some tab notation here. It's not correct because our tuning is not correct. So we wrote this in drop F, so we're going to knock this down to your basic drop F tuning. Alright, so we have our tuning set, so we could just adjust the fingering, and now we have tabs that are accurate. So that first thing is just open power chords. So let's say for this part, I don't want to play it on this string here. I can hold Option or Alt and just arrow up and down, and I can move where the fingering is on one string. So if I want to do it all on one string, I could just put it down to there. This, I wouldn't play it like this, so I could just do arrow down, and I could play it like this instead, or like that, or if I want to go back up to there. And you can just find out what's the most comfortable way to play it. But like, you can have tabs easily, and then if somebody writes in Guitar Pro, you can just export as MIDI, and then you can import back into your DAW with this, and you guys go back and forth, and you have super easy tabs. I hope you guys had your questions answered about writing with MIDI guitars, and I really hope this helps you get some inspiration for writing with MIDI. Happy songwriting.